I know I'm not dancing by myself.
Oh.
Trust me, they don't want to see that. Hey.
Boom.
Hey, the missus, hey, guess what? She works, but she's still here. Don't fret for anybody who's been watching our shows as of late. Hey, I'm Steve.
And I'm Kia, and like my husband has stated, I've been working a full month at a job I truly love, and they noticed it. Also, they did my evaluation yesterday. This girl is doing very well for
Your
her
girl got
first
a
month.
raise is what it was.
I got $1 raise, and yes, it's not much, but to me it's a lot, so I'm excited about that. But they also gave me the weekend off this weekend.
I know, and you know what that means. It means it's time for some Top Rope Spoilers. Welcome to our show On the Ring Apron Presents Top Rope Spoilers. We're doing NXT in your house. It's back again.
Second time in the second year.
Yeah.
The first one was amazing. So how are they going to top
Io
themselves?
Shirai jumping off of a building
Off
or
of a
something
house,
like
off
that.
the top of the house. How is it going to... How is it going to up its game this year? I want to know.
Exactly.
Please tell me.
But we're excited to be back. For those of you who have joined us for our shows before, you know this is our prediction show for each of our pay-per-views. We typically do them about 24 hours beforehand, give or take a little bit. Did do a plate exchange earlier this week, celebrating the new North American champion Bronson Reed.
Woo, woo.
Spoiler: you might see his belt later tonight. And we also, of course, for those of you who haven't been watching, we will have another plate exchange coming up here in the coming next several days, because we have a new women's champion out in the UK in the form of Miko Satomura, who finally ended the 649-day reign of the forever champ, Kaylee Ray.
You know what? It breaks my heart because I really love Kaylee Ray for not only being a fighting champion, but for as long as she was. Because we had her, and then we had Walter, and I know Pete Dunne held the title for as long as he did. So you have people who are willing to take this seriously and are willing to hold these titles, but it breaks my heart because she literally reached out to us and was talking to us.
Oh, she loved the plates that we got for him and everything. So it was fantastic to see her. So here's hoping maybe she's coming to America. Maybe she's on the path. She's called out Sasha Banks. She's called out Becky Lynch. She's called out Charlotte.
Those are some. So you got 3 of the 4 horsewomen who you've already called out. You know that's a tough. All you're missing is Bayley and. But
I'm sure they'll fight each other soon enough.
So.
But we've got that plate exchange coming up here. It'll be the first time it appears on our show, other than just the initial plate getting put on there. But hey, that's not what you guys came to see. We're here to talk about TakeOver, so let's get right to it. 5 good matches on the card, but first we got to check our scoreboard for this year so far.
Do we really have to do this? Because we get it. You're about to gloat that you're in the lead.
Just by a little bit. We ended up splitting WrestleMania Backlash. We both went 4-2 at that pay-per-view. So far, we haven't had a losing pay-per-view yet. The closest thing we had was, a 6-6 run at WrestleMania. So currently I'm up 12-10, certainly not a blowout, and certainly some room for us to do something about that at this pay-per-view. And remember, this is a first of 2 consecutive pay-per-view weekends. We've got Hell in a Cell next week.
Goodness, and I've got 10-8, but your girl's very competitive, so she's going up the scores.
Well, you led most of the way last year, and maybe I'll lead this year, and then you can catch me at the end. We'll see how it turns out. But let's get right into the action. For those of you who haven't joined us, we give you our predictions, or give you our, our preview of each match, and then give you our official predictions. Let's open up with what we believe will be the first match of the night, and this is a rivalry going back 4 years in the making, going all the way back to the 2017 Mae Young Classic. Mercedes Martinez will go one-on-one with the newly reformed Xia Li.
But let's not sit here and say she's newly reformed. We get that. But also, Mercedes Martinez, I feel like she's been renewed too. Like, she's come back. She went to the main roster and came back, and she's been a beast ever since. But this right here, she feels like she's been disrespected, and I can kind of see where she's coming from. And she went and she had her transformation, and she worked hard and she built herself up, but she also had assistance too to get to this point. She felt like she was being disrespected. She felt like her family was being disrespected, and she wasn't going to stand for that. So she went away. She came back. And now she's like literally, I feel like she has almost tried to slaughter the whole entire women's roster, but she has real tough competition with Martinez over there.
Mercedes absolutely being a buzzsaw in of herself, but Xia Li has come in with this newfound renowned spirit ever since she went and got her tolerance training. Because again, this all dates back to a match back in 2017 at the very first Mae Young Classic when Mercedes Martinez defeated Xia Li in the quarterfinals to knock her out of the tournament. And Xia basically blames that loss as the beginning of the start of her downfall and her disrespect towards her family, and she doesn't want to beat Mercedes. She needs to beat Mercedes because she has to start righting the wrongs that have come her way. We definitely know she's seen the firepower that comes with it, but this lady right here has come within inches a couple of times of being NXT Women's Champion at this point.
Let me ask you a question. Do you feel like Xia Li has held this grudge for the last several years when it comes to Martinez?
I'm not going to sit here and say she's held the grudge. I think it's always been there. I just think she always just kind of kept it down until eventually this entire transformation of Li has helped her to believe that this is, your anger can be your strength. Your anger can be what motivates you and pushes you. And so far, no one has even come close to being able to stop her up to this point. But we all know Mercedes is no slouch either herself. No. This could actually be one of the capacities. I mean, like every NXT Takeover match, if it was good enough to make the card, it's going to be a good fight. So we move to our predictions. I'm ahead, so I go first. This is one I had a real hard time, looking at, because I don't think it does Mercedes any favors, especially after you just had her lose 2 championship matches before all of this, and potentially have her, drop, another match so quickly. But I'm going to go with Xia Li on this one. I really do think that this is a build-up for her to be true competition in the women's division. She's been kept under the radar. They had her go away from the storyline for a little while. I think she needs to be built back up. And honestly, Mercedes Martinez is a person that we all know what a badass she is.
Yeah.
We know how good she is. She can afford the loss. I'm going to take Li. I'm not even going to technically call it an upset. I would just think that this is going to be a very good back and forth and definitely a brawlers type of match.
Well, I mean, you took Li, and that's great, and I get where you're coming from when you take her and where your pick and decision came from and the explanation. In my opinion, I'm going to have to do the exact opposite. I'm going to have to take Mercedes Martinez, only because, again, these women fought in the Mae Young Classic, and they were baddies back then, but now you have these women who have grown up, matured, and have gone off, done their own thing, because you have to think, well, you're sitting here saying that she went away. She went to the main roster and wanted to come back to NXT because she wanted to be taken seriously. And, if you come back to NXT, there's no guarantee you're going back to the main roster. So the fact that she took a step down, it meant that she wants to go through the whole entire competition, the women's roster on this, to prove, hey, I can be competitive, I can be strong, I can be built up to hit the main roster and then take out the rest of the women up there. My thing with this, when she went away and she left, she came back and we made the joke and it was ha-ha, and I said, she makes me think of the time we used to look at Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Her gear, her outfit, her swag. She came out
like the Shredder.
She came out looking like the Shredder, and I said she's going to shred the whole entire women's roster. She's tough, she's bad.
And the reality is there's only really been one person who's been able to stop her, I guess 2, and that's been Rhea and Raquel, both people who can match her in strength. Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see if Xia can stay with her, because Xia definitely cannot match Mercedes in strength, but can match her in speed.
Exactly. So my decision is going to be, and my pick will be my girl, my baddie, because she is who she is, and she is who she is too, but I'm not going to pick against her. Sorry, Xia, not sorry.
Going with Mercedes. Okay, so we'll go opposite ends on that one.
Yeah, we're not.
Moving into our second match, and probably one that's provided the most comedy up to this point, and definitely its fair share of laughs. We are going to have a ladder match for the now dubbed NXT $1 Million Championship. And you guys, anybody who watches knows I normally have the belts, but I do not own the $1 Million Championship yet.
But he will.
But I will if they're going to turn this into a regular, regularly defended belt. Then I have no problem going out and getting it. But it will be a ladder match to determine the first NXT $1 Million champion, Cameron Grimes, battling LA Knight. Now, of course, all this comedy comes from, Cameron Grimes hitting the big time, hitting the money, playing his stocks right, and then eventually getting introduced to the $1 Million Man, who has one-upped him every step of the way, until they finally got to that mutual place of, it's what you do in the ring. You can have all the money in the world, but it's what you do here inside the squared circle. And the reality is, DiBiase flat out told Cameron Grimes, you've got it. You have it inside these ropes. Don't worry about how much money you have. Don't worry about what it is. You're worth $1 million, whether you have it actually or not, inside these 4 corners. And LA Knight is taking offense to it because, again, as he loves to say, it's a fact of life that he knows he deserves that $1 million title and deserves that status more than Cameron Grimes does. Now they're going to decide it and figure out which one of them will wear their first gold here in NXT.
You can't say you deserve something. I don't want to hear talk. I don't want you to bump your gums. Stop. First of all, you're new to the scene.
JR reference, I love it.
You're new to the scene. As much as you think you're hot, you're not. And as much as you understand, and for anybody that watches our show, I have been against Cameron Grimes.
His hat's finally on the shot, by the way.
We gonna get it.
Okay,
but that's not the point. The point is, I've been against Cameron Grimes every step of the way, and at this point, I'm not no more. I'm not. I've not played into it. I have bought in, even though he hasn't given me any of his money, which would be helpful. So, my thing is, I know who this person is. I've seen him come in. I saw him make his debut. I've seen him fight every week, even if it's just YouTube clips I've seen here and there. But I can't really take him seriously because he's sitting here saying, I deserve. I've seen Cameron Grimes literally go through almost the whole entire roster and fight everybody. And yes, it's been comedy. He's been comedy gold every step of the way. And I keep sitting here saying, I don't like him. But I can respect him enough to know that, hey, you've been here. You've been up against literally almost everybody on the roster. I can't sit here and say that I hate you anymore or I strongly dislike you. I have a mutual respect for the fact that you have been here and the fact that you have gone up against everybody. And yes, as much as you bump your gums, you have a plan to always back it up. Does it always succeed? No. But you're always coming up with an alternate, and that's a smart wrestler. That's just not a wrestler. That's a smart person.
And, and of course you add in the ladder match element of, the idea of it's not going to be a pinfall or submission that's going to decide this match. It's going to be climbing the ladder and grabbing that $1 million championship from the hanger. Which, we've seen both of these competitors in ladder matches before. Cameron Grimes a number of times almost winning the North American Championship. Excuse me, hiccup. Over his several years here. And it's right. Cameron Grimes has put in the time, at least here in NXT up to this point. So if you've only watched NXT, it plays to your favor that Grimes is the one you know more about. But that's not to be disrespectful to LA Knight. He comes in, hottest free agent that they had when they signed him. He has the capacity, he has the level of, strength and everything else to be able to be a big-name person in this business, very similar to the type of run that Adam Cole had when he first got here.
Definitely.
Now, this could be the initial start. Of course, one of them is going to win their first piece of championship gold, along with a lot of diamonds and everything else that's studded on that belt. It's going to be a coronation for one of the two to finally, set up that main run of saying, okay, this guy can be championship-level material. So now it comes down to your pick, and you're up first on this one. Who climbs that ladder and wins the $1 million title?
Here's my thing. You have a veteran who has been around this business for a long time who is coming back. And when you go to Cameron Grimes and you sit here and you tell him he has it, that only tells me, because he knows. He knows what to look for. He knows what to expect. He knows about this business better than either of these two. You go to Cameron Grimes and say, you have it. I'm picking Cameron Grimes. And for anybody that knows, no, I do not pick this guy at all. So the fact that I'm picking...
I truly think somebody, we will reward somebody with something if y'all go back and watch through our videos. Find out if she has ever picked Cameron Grimes in a match, because I don't think you have.
I think this is my first time picking him. I'm picking him, and I'm putting all my little $800 check on the table for this man to win. No offense to this dude, but go Cameron Grimes.
Yeah, I know. You might have to eat some crow on that one. I'm going to go with Grimes as well. I think that this entire setup has been something, and the only way I see him losing this match is if, for whatever reason, he decides that he's going to do something, and he's not above it throughout his entire career.
Yeah, we know.
He's all about the money, and as he says, everyone's got his price. Well, what happens if LA Knight is willing to pay the price to be able to get ultimately what he wants? Because the entire capacity behind these two characters is that both of them have more money than they'll ever spend. So what if Knight is prepared to pay whatever it takes to get DiBiase to turn on Grimes? But I don't think that happens. I think that he has proven himself. And right now, you just don't have a storyline for him right now to be able to go win one of those other NXT roster titles. You don't quite have him ready for the main roster yet. So I think this is a good way to be able to put some gold on him and to be able to show exactly what he is capable of and continuing this run of this arrogant but yet, very, strong-willed Cameron Grimes that I really think, like you, is taking over a lot of people's hearts and getting him behind a lot of other people. So I'm going Grimes as well. I think he wins the title here.
Can we go ahead and just say it? To the moon!
All the way to the moon.
Okay.
Although that ladder I don't think goes that high.
But if he had his way, it probably would.
But anyway, as we're going across, of course, if you're seeing our comments, feel free to, throw some comments down here. We want to know, are we getting these right? Are we getting these wrong? You know, if you're watching this later on YouTube, of course, you know, you have the capacity to be able to, you know, either make fun of us before or after the pay-per-view, because we might be right on these, we might be dead wrong in the end, you know, but that's kind of the fun of it, you know. We're definitely not experts per se, you know. We do our best to, you know, give you the best predictions we can, you know. We go out here, if people want to pay us for it, we'll be happy to take it, right?
Yeah.
Money.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on to our third match of the night, and this is our first championship match, or should I say championships match.
Uh-oh.
As it's actually going to be a 6-person tag for both the North American and tag team titles. So we're going to find out if this table's big enough to hold both of them. But it will be for the North American Championship. For those who didn't see our Bronson Reed plates, there you go. Make sure I'll knock off your phone there. And the NXT Tag Team Championships, currently held by MSK. Both of these titles will be on the line simultaneously in a 6-person tag team match, with the winner taking all as the team of the North American Champion Bronson Reed and the Tag Team Champions MSK battle Legado del Fantasma, 6-man tag, winner takes all. Now, I know your personal feelings on Legado del Fantasma. You loved Santos Escobar's Cruiserweight title run. But it's nice to see that they're not just going to have him, as well as Wilde and Mendoza, sitting down in just the Cruiserweight division. Now they've got Escobar now starting to shoot for bigger championships. And boy, did he decide to shoot for the biggest one of them all in the colossal Bronson Reed, having just won the North American Championship over Johnny Gargano. You also look at MSK, who have been like a team on fire since they showed up back at the Dusty Rhodes Classic later part of last year. And all they've done since they've gotten here is win. That's all they've done.
I feel the song coming on. Sorry.
Exactly. So, I mean, and it's not just a matter of this team. It's been Legado del Fantasma, Ciampa and Thatcher, especially the Grizzled Young Vets. I mean, they have absolutely been a thorn in all of their sides every step of the way. And it seems like MSK just keeps finding ways to be able to win. But now you're going to have truly a group of individuals, granted a team and a singles, against a true trio in a 6-man tag, especially with 2 sets of championships on the line. This one has like a very interesting feel to it because, yes, it's kind of thrown together, but also this is a lot of rivalries kind of being flashed into one big match.
Yeah. My thing with that is I want to go ahead and take the time to congratulate Bronson Reed on this victorious win, but at the same time, I'm also seeing this as, it looks like it's thrown together. It looks like everything is what it is, but I feel, in my opinion, you're right. These two, MSK, have been here and they've been a house of cards. They've been on fire. They've literally, burn it down or blew it up or however y'all want to put it.
We're going to see how many copyright infringements we can break in this episode.
Either way, Seth Rollins, burn it down. Either way, I feel like these two right here, as a tag team, they know each other very well. They know what to do, what not to do. They know what will work and what won't work. And the fact that they've been working together for like a long, long time. And now you include Bronson Reed, Thick Boy, you know what I mean? I see all this right here, it's unbreakable. You cannot break these three. With him by himself, he can work with anybody. They have worked against almost everybody, but now they're all about to work together to take on the true trio. And as much as I do not like them, they always tend to somehow find a way to get what they need and to get what they want. So that's why I sit here and say it may have been thrown together, but I think it probably will be one of the better matches of the night.
MSK and Legado definitely have had their fun share of fantastic tag team matches. We know what Santos Escobar is capable of. Bronson Reed, just a powerhouse of himself, definitely has the strength advantage of anybody in this group because you've got 5 speedsters and then just a guy who's just flat out muscle. So it'll be interesting to see how Legado plans on trying to basically handle Bronson because speed-wise, MSK can match up with anybody in NXT. But you look at a match like this with 2 sets of titles on the line. You've got Bronson, who's possibly could lose his North American title without getting pinned. MSK could lose their tag titles without getting pinned. So, a lot of trust is being relied on between these teams because essentially now 2 sets of titles on the line, and now it's possible that a team or person could lose a championship without ever even factoring in the decision.
Yes.
So, we now move to our official picks for this. Again, another one to me that was tough to go with, but I am going to go with MSK and Bronson on this one. I just think right now, first of all, Bronson's Reed's run is just too short right now for it to be ended here already. If you were going to, if you're going to put the title on Escobar, just go ahead and have him, beat Gargano and really give him that huge push at that point. I don't think him beating Bronson Reed is going to be the way to do it. I do think that if Legado ends up winning this, it'll be by some slick tactic, behind the referee's back. They've proven they'll do whatever it takes to win. But Bronson Reed's run has been too short up to this point. MSK, right now they are the hottest tag team in all of NXT, possibly in the entire WWE at the moment. I don't see this team falling right now. And honestly, I feel like we could be closing in on maybe Santos starting to head off on his own. I don't know if maybe they're getting ready to call him up or if this team's going to do something. But right now, it just seems like this team can't get on the same page. A double title win will certainly go a long way to fixing that. Winning fixes everything. But I don't believe it happens here. I like Bronson and MSK retaining.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say that because I agree. His reign is too short, and we know that he's done everything he's supposed to. He's worked hard. He's competed with everybody. He's competed against everybody. He's been in every type of storyline that you've wanted him in, with every type of gender. I also feel like MSK, they cannot go wrong. They are strong enough that if they've been running through the whole entire roster of every tag team and they've done it successfully, I don't see them losing their titles either. So honestly, in my opinion, I agree with you. This team right here will not lose and cannot lose unless they do some slick foolishness behind the ref's back. That's the only way I can see it working. So I'm going to take MSK and Bronson Reed.
Okay, so we're going the same on this one. And, I just think right now, this is your answer right here. His title range just hasn't been long enough yet.
I agree.
Especially if he's going to lose it, under that capacity. So that moves us to our co-main event. That's the only problem with only having 5 matches on the card is the night just seems like it flies by really fast.
But also, with it being NXT and, Triple H and everybody else that works behind the scenes, they're going to put on a light show. Doesn't matter how many matches you have on this card.
Oh, indeed. So that moves us to our co-main event, which is for the NXT Women's Championship. And boy, do we have an absolute slugfest of a match set up here as the incumbent champion, Raquel Gonzalez, defends at her first takeover, and she defends against former NXT champion, Ember Moon.
Tell me the statistic because you are the statistician.
I am. That's what I do.
Tell me what you told me before the show.
This match is is a matchup between the only 2 women in history to hold both the NXT Women's and NXT Women's Tag titles. Yep. Now, granted, the Women's Tag titles are not that old yet, and only a handful of teams have won them.
Yep.
But that holds Raquel and Ember as the only 2 women to have that distinction, and now they'll battle for Raquel's Women's Championship.
You know me. You know I love women's matches. I love head-to-head. I love competition. I love ground and pound. I love pretty much flying through the air. I love it all. It's wrestling, and I've gotten into it, and I've gotten behind it. We've talked to her via Zoom thanks to Mania Club and DeMario and everybody organizing it. She's very nice, very sweet, despite what we see on NXT and despite what we see on the pay-per-views. Ember Moon, I aspire to, when she first came out, I said, oh, there's something about this chick. I don't know what it is.
And they said, from Dallas, Texas. And then I was like, that's it, and you're hooked.
I was automatically hooked. Her style, where she's from, what she does, the fact that she has worked hard. Not saying that Raquel hasn't, because we've seen her path here too, but I've been behind Ember every step of the way, and I hate, because I get a lot of comments, the only reason you're behind her is because she's black. No, not that. She has worked, and literally worked from literally to the bottom all the way to the top to get where she is.
And she got to the top and then took an injury that honestly would have retired most people, but she said, I'm not done yet.
And I sat here and
now she's back.
I sat here and I told you, I'm sad because my girl is gone. She's injured. I don't think she's coming back. And where did she come back at? In the most bad way ever. She came back, motorcycle swag, gear, and bike. I was crying, you guys. But this match right here is ground and pound. These 2 women are strong, tough, mentally, physically, verbally, emotionally. They have taken on all comers, and they've done it with no backing down. So.
Well, I hate the circumstances of why this match is happening, and it's because of the fact that they were having such a great tag team rivalry, and then Shotzi Blackheart got injured. So, it ends up resulting in Ember now having to run her own solo storyline. So it's nice that you're able to get a pay-per-view with her getting a match with Raquel and making sure that push does get a proper ending to it, even if it ends up being, in a singles level instead of at a tag team level. But
I have a question for you, because you might know better, because I've been working, so I haven't seen everything. do you think Dakota, from what I have seen, do you think Dakota gets involved in the assist, or do you think Dakota gets involved and Raquel, for whatever reason, loses her title when it goes to Ember?
Well, Dakota's the ultimate wild card in all this, and that's where I was getting ready to head with this is, Ember beat Dakota earlier this week on NXT and then was able to hit an eclipse on Raquel herself, proving that even though she is significantly bigger than she is, I can hit this move on you if you look past me for just a second. Do not let the fact that you are bigger and stronger than me, do not let that fool you. I can outfly you, and I can hit this eclipse on you. Dakota is the wild card in all this, but at the end of the day, I'm not really sure it's going to matter because, again, the speed of Ember only works as long as she can stay out of the grip of the larger and stronger Raquel Gonzalez. Once Raquel gets her hands on her, it's a whole different ballgame, and she can shut down that high-flying attack of Ember Moon very quickly. Ember, though, you and I have a very special bond with her. We were there the night she won the championship originally. We were there the night she lost the championship to Shayna Baszler.
We were excited when she won, and we were disheartened when she lost.
Exactly. So you look at everything that Ember has gone through, including taking an injury that would have retired 90% of other wrestlers, but she decided that even though she's older and even though she's, been through the ringer, through independence and everything else, she's like, I'm not done yet. And now she's back in the co-main event battling for the NXT Women's Championship, a title that she held many years ago and now has an opportunity to get back again. So we now move to our picks. We've seen what a good champion Raquel is. We know Ember has the capacity. Who walks out women's champ?
Ember. Not even a hesitation, because she has fought and fought and fought and fought, and she's gone up against some of the strongest, toughest women in this industry. And not saying that these women are not tough, because we've seen each and every woman in the main classic. We've seen them on the main roster. We've seen them in NXT. We've seen them in the indies. We've seen them all over the place. So we know what these women come with. Both of these women come with. And nothing against Raquel, but I feel like she's held that title. She's done it justice. We even got to see Rhea come back and Bianca come back, and they had a moment with Triple H, which on my phone, it's not going nowhere. But in the end, I feel my girl Ember, and I hate it because my other girl Shotzi, you know how much I love Shotzi.
Shotzi, a usual watcher of our show. She's usually always in the crowd somewhere. I haven't seen her pop up yet. She's a little busy tonight, I guess, but she usually frequents and comes in and watches us for a little while, especially if she's on the card.
But my thing is, I was upset when I heard about it because someone said, because people walked through, well, Shotzi Blackheart got injured, and I said, I have to go back and I have to check it, and little did I know she did. Ember, she's going to hold it down. She's going to do her thing. That's my pick. That's not changing, and I'm willing to bet house money that I really don't have on that. Oh, y'all got that!
Like, way to reference that in there. Yeah, I gotta go the other way on this one. I gotta go Raquel, and that is no disrespect to Ember Moon. You know how much we both like her. But they're doing something special with Raquel here. You can tell they're giving her a very Rhea Ripley-like push, a very Shayna Baszler-like push, where she is just going to just mow through the women's division, and it's going to take someone having basically the match of their career in order to do that. This will be potentially our match of the night, and you see what this card is stacked up with, but this has all the capacity to be one of the better matches of the night. But the reality is, we've seen Raquel basically waste an entire team virtually by herself. So Ember with no backup behind her, with no Shotzi in her corner, Dakota very much sitting in here, and you do wonder if Dakota's going to play a role that potentially could go in either direction. But at the end of the day, there's too much strength here. There's too much power here. She's going to have a great match, but she's going to get caught once, and once is going to be all it's going to take. I like Raquel retaining.
Also, I'm excited about doing this cosplay, and that's all I'm going to say, because I've got a list.
I'm looking forward to that as well.
I've got a list of cosplay, but I'm going to go ahead and say this is one of them right here. So let's go ahead and I guess move on to the next one.
And we did have one vote for Ember Moon in our comments down there below. So you're not walking alone on this one.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness.
Moving on to our last match of NXT Takeover in your house. It is a fatal 5-way for the NXT Championship. And basically they're taking virtually the entire men's roster and essentially throwing them out there and seeing which one's going to stick. The current champion, Karrion Kross, having won the title from Finn and then successfully defended against Finn, still undefeated since joining NXT a couple of years ago, but he faces his toughest task yet. Fatal 5-way, first pin takes the title. He defends against former champion Adam Cole, former champion Johnny Gargano, and 2 aspiring champions in both Kyle O'Reilly and Pete Dunne.
So, what you're telling me is that this man right here, literally, and let's not forget his beautiful assistant and his beautiful wife. I want to see what she comes out in. I do. But let's move on back to the match. We have seen all 5 of these men literally put everything on the line, their bodies, their hearts, their emotion, to go for these titles to win. We know what Pete Dunne is strong and he's tough, and I feel like he's foreign because
700 plus days as UK champion. I mean, no slouch. He knows how to hold a world title.
He's breaking fingers in the ring. I saw it with just everyone he's competed against. Adam Cole, when he first came in, I thought he was cute. I thought he was great, but what did he really have that was going to show me? And darn if he didn't show me with his career, just NXT.
400 plus days, longest reigning NXT champion.
But longest reigning, but not only was he the longest reigning, Triple H said, I need you on a flight to SmackDown. I need you on a flight to Raw. I need you to fight these people.
And you're going to do this on less than a day to prep.
Guess what? No questions were asked. He got on that plane. He did what he did. He came. He showed up, and he wowed me. I forever have been a fan. Was I really excited about him going head-to-head with Finn? No, I'm a Finn fan. I will forever. Johnny Gargano. Met him in person. Liked him. He was great. Him and his wife are awesome. I like the fact that they have formed a way, and they have their own little family. He is meticulously, he is, to me, was Mr. NXT, and technically, now Finn is NXT. But
we're going to hold up real quick because you mentioned Candice. I'm sorry. Indy, we are Team Indy, okay? You got your heart broken. We are 100% behind you.
No. Don't rewind. Don't drive past this. What happened?
That's right, because you didn't see it. Poppy ended up hugging Dexter Lumis, and Dexter apparently wants Poppy and not Indy.
Is that what I've been...
Mm-hmm. So we are behind Indy on this one. I'm sorry, Dexter. That was wrong. Although Poppy's fine as hell to look at. Anyway, by all means, back to Johnny. Continue.
No. I'm sorry that happened. I feel some type of way. See, that's what happens when you have a silent man that won't say nothing.
Communication was lacking there.
It was lacking. There you go. But Johnny has done his thing every step of the way, and there's nothing you can't say. I don't care. He had a big heart despite his size, and he held his title, his baby, and he kept going for it. Now, this man right here he's life, he's everything. I have seen him, literally, you have former brothers up here who have willing to been able to take each other's heads off in the process, go against each other. They have been disbanded for how long now?
A couple of months.
So... for me, I feel like I'm kind of biased, even though I've seen all these men do their thing. I already know where my heart lies and where I'm going with this, and it is what it is. But he's getting to show who he is through his fashion, through his style, through his wrestling sense. He's not in the shadows of Adam Cole, which is no slight to Adam Cole and no slight to their friendship or what was, but he's showing what he can do. We've seen his matches with Finn. We've seen what happened when he took some I think got thrown through stairs or whatever.
Dropped on him and took a Frankensteiner on it.
Yeah, we've seen this man be tough. All these men are tough, so there's nothing against any of them. But I honestly can tell you, I know where my heart lies. I know where I'm going, and I know how I feel about each individual man up here.
Well, it's kind of interesting because of the fact that you basically gave us a nice level up of our 4 challengers, but you didn't really tell us much about the champion, only besides the fact that he has a smoke show of an assistant. This man right here, Karrion Kross, again, still undefeated in NXT, now a 2-time NXT champion, because the first time he had to drop a title that technically he never lost.
He got injured.
Got injured, came back, was supposed to be 11 months of rehab. He was back in 4.
I feel like
he went into the gym and rehabbed like a beast and was back in 4 months. Very John Cena-esque,
if you will. There you go.
And now he's back at the top of the game, undefeated, and has told William Regal flat out, I want everybody. Do not send me one person because there is no single individual by themselves that can beat me. Finn can't do it. Adam can't do it. Kyle can't do it. I don't care who you put in front of me. Bronson can't do it. None of them can do it. I want everybody because it's the only way I'm going to have a chance to truly see what I can do, how strong I am. And William Regal has granted that request by basically sending the whole damn locker room after him.
And these are 4 of the toughest competitors. So, even though Karrion Kross is tough, you have 4 men who will do anything to break you to get that title.
So Karrion is going to get exactly what he asked for, and he is going to get easily the fight of his life. Like Finn told him, he's going to get drugged into the deepest water he's been in up to this point as champion. He wants to see just how good and how strong he is. We're about to find out. Also remembering Fatal 5-Way rules, which means no disqualifications, no count-out.
That's right.
Any outside interference is perfectly legal. So you've got people like Austin Aries. You've got people like Bobby Fish that could go potentially in either direction. You've got members, of Pete Dunne's group.
Only Lorcan and Burch.
Well, Burch is hurt, but Lorcan's still there. Okay. You've got them that potentially could play a role in all of this. And Lord knows who else is sitting out there. Maybe even Finn could potentially get involved.
Let's not forget Roderick Strong. No, he's gone. Who's the other member? Bobby Fish.
I just said Bobby Fish.
Okay.
I pointed at both of them.
Okay, so you got him.
So, without the ability to, to be able to, kind of quarter that, Karrion could essentially be looking at facing 8, 9, potentially up to 10 people. Candice LeRae is not opposed to getting involved in stuff like this. Mm-hmm. You could be looking at 9 or 10 separate people that all could be gunning for Karrion Kross. You wonder if he's bitten off more than he can chew here. But we also know that when it comes to just an all-around strength comparison, he's easily got the advantage over any of these 4. So now it comes down to, can he back up everything he says? Because here's the reality. If Karrion finds a way to get this done, who's left? Because at this point, you've taken out everybody. And, and granted, you could have any one of these 4 who, 2 are worthy former champions and 2 people who easily could be champion. Dunne has been over in the UK. The reality is, Karrion at that point would have taken out most of the men's roster at that point, and unless you're going to bring in some fresh blood, you wonder who's going to be the next person to line up. So it moves us to our official pick, and I go first, but go ahead before we start.
I like how you said fresh blood, because I know I've been online, and I know I try to stay active as much as I can. The fact that you're calling out John Cena. John Cena, the man who I got behind wrestling because of he's one of the many people. You called him out. So where does that lead you if this happens to take...
How about this historic significance? It's Cena wins world title number 17, and it's the NXT title.
That's what I'm talking about.
The WWE or the Universal. It's the NXT title that ultimately he gets number 17 on. Certainly something here, but we got a long way to go, and that's still a dream match in the making at the moment. But we do move to our pick, and I had a long time to think about this one because, honestly, 2 people have already proven that they can carry this business. 3 if you include Karrion. Dunne has held the UK in his hands for over 2 years. But the reality is, you look at everything right here, this man right now still rules the roost. Mm-hmm. And he's going to continue to still ruling the roost after this is over. He's not showing up without a plan. Scarlett's not showing up without a plan. Yep. Because we talked about everybody else who potentially has a person that they could bring out and could cause turmoil. Well, Karrion has an ace up his sleeve too, and it's Scarlett, who always has a way to get ultimately what she desires, and what she desires is her man walking out NXT champion. He's called everyone out, and ultimately you look at the bitter rivalries between all of these people, and all of them are going to end up beating each other up. It's going to open the door for Karrion. He's going to win. He's going to retain. Karrion Kross stays NXT champion.
My thing with that is he got injured. He left. He got injured, left, rehabbed like a beast, had the surgery, came back within 4 months, and has literally shown up and had a plan. And Finn literally said, if you can go into this with no emotion or don't show how emotional you can be, you will win this title. And he literally took everything Finn said, used it, motivated him, and now he's holding the title, the NXT title. Nothing against these 4 men. We've already seen these 2, so nothing against them. I don't want to see it with them. I don't want them to see it again. I want to see it on them again.
Not right now. Anyway.
No. They can go ahead and go to the main roster. I think they're ready.
Okay.
These 2 right here, I want to see this title on both of them at some point before they go to the main roster. My thing is, I don't see Karrion Kross coming back from injury, rehabbing like a beast, and getting this title, winning it off Finn, and then retaining it again, where Finn can't. He's lost his chance, and now he's back in the line. I don't see Kross dropping the title. I don't see him losing it. I see him walking out with a victory. I mean, everybody's time, their time is literally up. TikTok.
TikTok. So you've got Karrion as well.
I got him as well.
And that's a surprise because I know how big of a Kyle O'Reilly fan you are. And I do believe Kyle's time is coming. It's gonna happen. Just not on this night.
Not on this night. No offense, Kyle. I love you, but I don't see it right now. So Pete, I love you. I don't see it with him right now. Karrion retains.
Okay. So that brings us to the official end of our show. For those of you who took the time to join us, thank you so much for taking the time to come out and watch us on a Saturday. We know you got plenty of other choices of things you could be doing, but thanks for taking the time to come out and watch us and see our official prediction show for all of this. But we definitely want to make sure that you guys are enjoying all of our material and everything else. Of course, as we said already earlier in the show, we've got a plate exchange coming up for our new NXT UK Women's Champion, Miko Satomura, finally dethroning the forever champ, Kaylee Ray. Mm-hmm. And then after this, hey, all 4 titles on the line. Are we going to see potentially a new champion come out of In Your House? So we'll see how it all plays out. But thank you for joining us. Enjoy the pay-per-view tomorrow. Let's see how we all do. Kia, take us home.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you later. I'm about to go eat. Y'all know I'm a big foodie, so I'm hungry. Peace out.